It's all personal, everyone's got different situations they're dealing with, so we all have really unique challenges to our life. I'm 45 years old, man. There's a lot of shit going on, so you just gotta try to figure out life the best you can.
We have an absolute bombshell of a report for you guys today. I mean, it really does a good job explaining what we believe is going on behind the scenes in the GOAT's life, and I'm gonna piece it all together for you guys in this video. Before we get to this video, I just wanted to address something. There's been a decent amount of comments about my hair or the lack of my hair, and I'm not ready to really address the situation in a video yet, but I have posted tweets on my Twitter account for you guys to go piece it together. I have my reasons for not really trying to make a big deal out of this yet. So if you're interested in knowing what's going on, which I don't really think it's a huge deal to be honest, then go to my Twitter account, go to my Instagram account, and the answer will be there for you. And now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So one of the things that kind of bugged me, because I am playing catch up on all the videos that I need to make for you guys. Yes, I have a Matt Ariza video coming out for you guys this weekend. I do have a Brian Robinson video coming out for you guys this weekend. Shout out to you guys for commenting the stuff that you felt like I missed during my week off so I could play catch up for you guys. But one of the things that was very underrated, that was swept under the rug by a decent amount of sports channels, is the fact that Tom Brady returned from his 11-day absence, which was really blown out of proportion. I mean, here's an interview that he gave in regards to why he was gone for 11 days. And this interview, originally, I wasn't paying attention to what he said, but like looking back at it now after watching it a couple times, it's fairly telling about what's going on in Tom Brady's life behind the scenes. Check it out.
It's all personal, everyone's got different situations they're dealing with, so we all have really unique challenges to our life.
First things first, man. I mean, just comparing the average picture of Tom Brady to him right here, the man doesn't look good. I mean, he usually is a perfect physical specimen. Over here, he actually looks like he's malnourished a little bit. He looks stressed. He doesn't look like the Tom Brady that we all know and love. As a matter of fact, he looks like he lost a decent amount of weight as well. And the reason I didn't make a video on this originally is I wanted an answer. I didn't want to just make a video saying, why does Tom Brady look like this? He doesn't look so good. But I want you to pay attention to what he said in this interview.
45 years old, man. There's a lot of going on, so.
And for the most part, we didn't really hear much about Tom Brady's situation up until today. What's going on behind the scenes in Tom Brady's life and his personal life is something that we actually suspected, because it doesn't necessarily take a genius to figure out that in his personal life, people won't be happy about the fact that he decided to return to football. So of course, you guys remember this past offseason, Tom Brady retired from the NFL, and then 40 days later, right before free agency, he decided to unretire. And as a result of this, according to an article from Page 6, Tom Brady and Gisele are in an epic fight as a result of this. And this fight makes a lot of sense. So here's what the article says. There's trouble in Tom Brady and Gisele paradise, multiple sources tell Page 6 exclusively. The model has left their family compound in Tampa, Florida for Costa Rica following a series of heated arguments over Tom Brady's shock decision to unretire from the NFL while he has remained behind for team training, which again, this is something that we've been speculating for a while, but I think for the most part, it was kind of swept under the rug because we just assumed Tom and Gisele, they're like this super team. I mean, they obviously are going to figure it out, but I could totally see why this is a big deal here. I mean, here's what the source says. Tom and Gisele are in a fight right now, adding that this has happened before with the couple, but they've always reunited in the past. The news comes after the Buccaneers quarterback missed 11 days of training in August, and when quizzed about his disappearance, the sports star said that it's all personal. Everyone's got different situations they're dealing with. We all have very unique challenges to our life. I'm 45 years old, man, and there's a lot of shit going on. Tom Brady and Gisele didn't really comment on this article. Of course they didn't freaking comment on this article. They're freaking Tom Brady and Gisele. Do you expect them to comment on an article that is trying to make a big deal out of their personal life right now? I mean, he's Tom freaking Brady and she's freaking Gisele. There's a lot of stuff going on. on. Now, a second source says that there's been trouble in the marriage over his decision to unretire. Gisele has always been the one with the kids. They had agreed that he would retire to focus on the family, then he changed his mind. As an insider, they have a fiery relationship. Gisele is a bit hot-headed. She has that Brazilian heat. Okay, I don't really think that part was really necessary to add, but here's the thing. A lot of people kind of look at Tom and Gisele, and it's very easy to do this as, oh, he's Tom Brady, the greatest football player of all time, and she's Gisele. She's a supermodel. Gisele is really, really freaking established. I mean, when it comes to being one of the most established and independent supermodels in like the history of the world, like she is up there. So personally, I'm a huge fan of traditional gender roles, and it's not necessarily something that I think is a right or wrong thing. I feel like some couples would prefer to be in a relationship with traditional gender roles, and there's some couples that do not like that at all whatsoever and find it to be a little bit dated. I don't think there's a right and wrong in this instance. I feel like in this particular instance, you have Gisele, who has so many freaking achievements and has done so much with her life, but she's also decided to give her life to Tom Brady and have kids with him. And clearly, when you're a woman that's as accomplished as Gisele and is still trying to achieve as much as Gisele, you're not necessarily going to be content with your husband, who is the greatest quarterback of all time, who's pretty much at the point where he's overstayed his welcome in his career for an additional 7 years. I mean, could you imagine if you're Gisele at this point? You're like, okay, can you retire so I could go back to doing stuff and maybe you could start being a dad and taking care of the kids? But here you have Tom Brady playing way into his 40s to a point where it's remarkable, but a little concerning from, hey, you're putting your health at risk standpoint. So I can understand why she is frustrated in this situation. So in May, Gisele told British Vogue that I don't think relationships just happen. It's never the fairy tale people want to believe it is. It takes work to really be in sync with someone, especially after you have kids. His focus is on his career and mine is mostly on the kids. Okay, so that's a very telling quote right there. It seems like she longs to get back to her career. Now, Brady is apparently taking care of the kids while Gisele is away, and on his Instagram account on Monday, he posted a video of himself taking his kids to their first day of school. And then the source says he's such a doting dad, very much a family man. As Tom Brady did a quick about face on his retirement, Gisele has also been working again and is currently starring in a new Burberry campaign. It's almost like Gisele was like, well, if you want to keep playing, so will I, said the second source. She's resentful that Tom is still the football superstar, which I could kind of understand it, man. I mean, I don't want to say it's comical, but it's definitely not a situation that you see every day. You never have this situation where your husband has this crazy longevity to be able to play football for this freaking long, and you're kind of like, okay, you know, like your longevity is great, and yeah, you're clearly the GOAT now. Like, there's no point for you to come back at this point. You have more Super Bowls than any other freaking NFL team. You're rewriting record books. Like, who the hell plays the most dangerous sport in the world until the age of 45? Can you like retire? Especially a man that has been able to cheat any type of brain injury, has been able to avoid multiple concussions, has still been able to maintain fairly good health except for that torn ACL in the late 2000s that he suffered at the hands of Bernard Pollard. Again, I know it's going to be very easy for a lot of us to say, oh, Gisele is holding Tom Brady back. But at this point, I'm not trying to say there's a right and a wrong, but I am saying that I am empathetic towards why Gisele is frustrated currently. And again, man, we're a football channel, so obviously all of us are saying, go Tom Brady, we want him to play for as long as possible. But I bet you if this was a supermodel channel, do those exist? Is there like a supermodel YouTube community? Everyone would be siding with Gisele and saying, okay, we understand why she's frustrated. So I'm just trying to be fair here, but there's more, trust me, because this seems like it's affecting Tom Brady's performance at training camp. So Brady has been looking downcast at training camp, according to sources. In 2020, during an appearance on Howard Stern's SiriusXM show, Brady admitted that a couple years ago, Gisele didn't feel like I was doing my part for the family. She felt like I would play football all season and she would take care of the house. He added, he wasn't satisfied with our marriage, so I needed to make a change in that. Her point was, well, yeah, of course this works for you. It all works for you, but it doesn't work for me. Again, she just wants to get back to work. She doesn't want to be the traditional housewife. Totally understandable. It's not for her. I could respect that. And more recently, Brady had admitted that he needs to be better about balancing his NFL career and spending time with his family. During the off season, my family's got a lot of time, and I've enjoyed that. I can still do a better job of that. It's just constantly trying to be a little bit better each and every day. This article does a great job like piecing together other things that happened over this off season, because a addressing his 6-week retirement earlier this year, Tom Brady added that every decision comes at a cost. So why is this important at all whatsoever? Well, I don't necessarily think it's a super important article, but we're football fans. We want to know what's going on behind the scenes. We want to know why Tom Brady was off for 11 days and what he might be potentially dealing with, because I don't necessarily know if all of this is true. Does it make sense to me? Yes. It does seem consistent with Tom Brady's personality to be obsessed with his craft and want to return for age 45 football. And not to say that I know these individuals personally, but it seems consistent with Gisele's personality to want to be more than just the traditional housewife, which there's nothing wrong with wanting to be the traditional housewife, but she just doesn't want to be it. So I could understand both of these individuals and why they are currently in a disagreement. I don't think they're going to get divorced as a result of it, because at the end of the day, how much more football does Tom Brady have in him, you know? And I'm sure Gisele's been telling herself this each and every single freaking year. It's like, okay, 39 years old, how much more football does this man have in him? Okay, he's 40, 41, 42. Wait, you're joining a new team? 43, 44? Wait, you're unretiring? What? It's like he wins the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and decides to come back and play another season with them, and they're clearly worse this year, and then he still decides to come back. I could understand this, man. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this article. Do you agree with it? Do you believe it? Do you think it's true? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.